Well, good evening, everybody. It's the Cryptid Huntress. I'm Jessica Jones. Welcome into our remote viewing show tonight. Oh my gosh, y'all. We have the most dynamic duo here with me tonight. I have my good friends who I got to hang out with in person up in Montauk, New York a while back. I've got Arkheim Ra here in the studio and Sean Bond, brand new to the Cryptid Hunters channel. I actually interviewed Sean over on Spaced Out Radio a while back, and you guys are going to love Sean. These guys are so cool. And they both have been part of the secret space program. And we're going to get into a target that these guys gave me that involves a warship in space. And the data is pretty fantastic, y'all. And so if you guys would like to follow along with all that data, you guys are welcome to join my Patreon. It's all there in my Patreon. So shout out to all my Patreon members. You guys are the best. I love everybody. All the support. Y'all give me so much support. I love it. And I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Okay. And I hope that you guys enjoy the show tonight. And I hope that y'all learn something. We always learn something on all these shows, including myself. I learn something every time. Okay, well, I hope you guys enjoyed the show yesterday. If you missed our show yesterday, Dr. Dennis Carroll came on and we talked about bat squatch and some winged cryptids. Okay, we actually talked about the Jersey Devil. We talked about dragons. We talked about gargoyles. We talked about everything. All right, so it was a great show. Please go back and give that a watch if you missed it. I had a really good, you could tell by looking at my face, I was having a really good time. So the Cryptid Huntress does love cryptid, y'all. Okay, and that's what we were doing last night, or actually it was yesterday afternoon with Dr. Dennis Carroll. Okay, y'all. Well, if you guys would like to follow along with all of my shows and check out all my archives, please go over to my website. That's thecryptidhuntress.com. That you can find all of my social media links there and the calendar of events, including the next event that I have coming up is the Georgia Bigfoot Conference. And that is going to be on March the 22nd in North Georgia at a place called Demarest at Piedmont University. And I just confirmed that we're going to have Stacy Brown Jr. there with us this year. I talked to him a couple of nights ago. We've added him to the roster on here. And so please come see us. We're going to have the guys from North Carolina Investigates, including George Lunsford and Robert Effler. Harley Owens is going to be there, I think. Okay. Stacy Brown Jr., David Pardue, y'all. That's our good friend who's brought us the wonderful footage of the little people, the aliens, and the Bigfoot, and the reptilian in his backyard out of North Carolina. David's one of my teammates, and he's got some of the best video evidence, hands down, of any cryptid researchers that I know. Harley's got some really good evidence too, y'all, of dogmen. He and I are going to be doing some investigating together here pretty soon. You'll hear about it after we do it. Okay. But anyways, we're going to have a great lineup there. Matthew Delph will also be there, and Mark Muncie of Erie Travels. And I'm probably leaving out a bunch of people, but that's March 22nd up in North Georgia. So y'all come see me for that. But the list of events is on my website. Y'all come see me. All right. Also, I did mention that all the data tonight is on my Patreon. If you guys would like to become a member, thank you to all my members. I got y'all a sweet Valentine's Day gift this year. I had some little Cryptid Hunters heart shaped merchandise made just for you guys. And so for my VIP members, you do get some Cryptid Huntress merchandise every month. Okay. So thank you guys so much for that. It's appreciated very much. And also I do have a shop if you guys want to support me over there too. You can find all that over on my website. Okay. Let's get to our show tonight, y'all. Because I have a pretty good bit of data on this one. And of course, Arkheim Ra always brings the heat when he comes on this show. He's always got the great targets. He brought us the robot grandma. Which, by the way, I will be doing a show kind of talking about robot grandma with my friend Bryce over on Esoteric Atlanta here pretty soon. If you guys want to tune into that, thanks to Arkheim and Kat, his fiance. But he's brought us that. He's also brought the cloning facility under Davenport, Iowa, the jump rooms to Mars and Venus. The colonization of Venus, actually. Oh, there's a whole bunch of targets that we've done, actually. So you guys go back to that playlist and check it out. and check out Arkheim on his YouTube channel called Disclosure Now. And also Sean Bond is here. He's with Psionic League on YouTube. Please go check him out too. He may be showing us some ancient alien artifacts tonight as well. So you guys don't go anywhere. Go get your popcorn, settle in, and chill out. Okay, because we're in for the long haul tonight. All right. So here's our target tonight. The Black Midas is a black triangle galaxy class warship. According to Secret Space Program testimony from Arkheim Ra and Sean Bond, they believe that they testify that they have alters serving on this ship, anchoring timelines and positivity and ridding them of archonic forces. They tasked me with this coordinate remote viewing target, and I've got some wild, pretty cool data for this one. And I'm going to give you guys a little background on Arkheim and on Sean. Arkheim Ra is a starseed who was targeted for super soldier espionage mind control program in the U.S. public schools talented and gifted TAG program. He served at Montauk under Project Phoenix and has had several alters which engaged in time travel and alternate reality programs in what he believes may have been a swap alternate reality. Arkheim's alters have also worked with Nacht Waffen, Mars Defense Force, Solar Warden, Lunar Command, and more. Sean Bond is the founder of Psionic League and Silver Cord Spiritual Science. He's a spiritual healer who aids others in holistic healing and spiritual growth, problem solver and spiritual conduit for teaching others about multidimensional awareness and interaction with all their individual DNA technologies, higher functions and operation systems within anyone's soul, sparks, shards, or their multidimensional self to help them manifest in the physical. You guys can find Sean at Psionic League on YouTube. And like I said, Arkheim over at Disclosure Now. It's going to be on the ticker tonight. And I know my mods will be putting their links in the live chat tonight. Please help me welcome to the show our good friends, Arkheim Ra, and welcome to the show, Sean. Hey, Sean.
Hey, just here. Good to be here.
Hey, guys. Oh, it's awesome. It's awesome. Hey, Sean, you got some background noise, so I'm going to mute you for just a second, okay? Well, just for one half second,
yeah, it's
okay?
very echoey where you're at. I don't know if it's
How about
phone or what.
Better?
Is
Better?
it? Yeah. Yeah, that's better. That's definitely a little better. Yeah, see, Sean, you guys, Sean is in Mexico. I just found out Sean lives in Mexico now. Do you live there, or are you just visiting?
I live there, so I'm here all the time doing archaeological digs, and every weekend going to archaeological sites and pyramids and mounds and having a good old time.
Oh man, I am so excited that you're here tonight. I got to, okay, so for the audience, you guys, just a good little background. I actually hung out with Sean and Arkheim up in Montauk. I think that was about a year and a half ago, up at Montauk, and that's where I met both of them. We hung out in person, had a really good time hanging out, but it was a wonderful experience, and we made some pretty good friendships. Okay, and
Yeah, we had fun. We had fun. Yeah, it was a great trip. I got a lot of warnings and messages from people who are like, "Hey, be careful," because it's both like the trauma of the Montauk project or whatever. But it's like a vacation spot. We had a good time. We transmuted all that dark energy, and we didn't allow that to ruin what we were doing. And we had a great time. It was such a good time, and hopefully we'll be able to do something like that again in the future because it was a lot of fun. And it was very healing. It was really transformative.
I agree. Activated memories, awareness, alters, soul parts came back, helped ghosts.
We put the first monument there, which for all of the lives lost and all the children who died there, with that stone cross we put there, and we did that ritual. So that's like, to me, historical. It's the first time anybody ever did that, and just that was a really important trip, and that was a lot of fun. The Montauk Adventure Tour, which we got a documentary out of that. Dark Hour Paranormal made his documentary, The Lost Souls of Montauk. And then I think James Rink, also with Super Soldier Talk, got a lot of footage out of that as well and covered a lot of different stuff that you can check out over on his channel. But yeah, that was a really transformative experience.
Yeah, we were in a hot tub and shining lasers in the sky, and we saw like UFOs and green flashes and stuff go by. It was awesome.
Yes, we had a hot tub, y'all. It was great. We stayed in a nice house in the Hamptons, actually. And I spent a little time in that hot tub. It was fun. We just had a great time. But okay, so but for the core of why we went though is because of the Montauk project, and you guys both have had some ties to that. And I know Arkheim, you've told the audience plenty of times about your connection to Montauk and Project Phoenix and the Montauk project. And so Sean, you were actually a part of those programs as well, right?
I wish I didn't, but it keeps coming back to me.
Yeah.
Dreams about it. So.
Yeah.
So if you don't mind me just kind of going into how I assigned this target to you and where it comes from.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sean wanted to trade sessions, and admittedly, I'm very new to this. Basically, what I try to do for people, if you book a session with me, is I'll help you figure out if you had weird memories, like what might have happened to you, what programs you've worked in. I'll use both my knowledge and my intuition to help you maybe figure things out. And so I did that with Sean a little bit.
Yeah, good session.
And when I kind of meditated on it and looked into, because I knew that I know him from the programs and I know that there's a direct connection. So I wanted to look into my own memories. And also shower thoughts. I was in the shower when I did this. Something about being relaxed and the heat, and it like activates you and helps your thoughts flow better. You know, it's like people have come up with hit songs and genius and inventions in the shower and stuff because it just helps you think or whatever. I don't know what it is about the shower. A lot of stuff going on in the mind when you're in the shower.
It is. It's relaxing. You know, it's relaxing, and it's a good place to be by yourself. Renee in the chat, he knows all about that. I know Renee. And yeah, it's a good place to just gather your thoughts and to be at one. And it's the water. It's that water aspect too, and it's very cleansing. It's a good time to cleanse your energy.
Yeah.
All the negativity goes down the drain, and you're purifying.
Yeah.
Take in good
like
messages.
If you're like a spiritual person that likes like rituals to help with things, that's a great one we do every day that people don't think about. Like when you're washing yourself, all the bad thoughts, all the negativity, I'm not going to let that in my life today. I'm washing that away. And with this water and all this warmth that's coming on me, I bring in light and I bring in good things. You know, it's a ritual that you can do every day to kind of set the tone and make yourself feel anew. So that's one thing that I like about showers too. But not to get too aside with the whole shower aspect of it, which is interesting to acknowledge, right?
Brought to you by Bed Bath and Beyond. Yeah, you can use showers to clear entity attachment, like get
and maybe
warm,
it has something to do with memory too.
Cold, 14 seconds.
But basically,
freeze everything attached to you and then plug it off.
I was attempting to remote view. I guess would be you could say that, right? It would be inaccurate. I was attempting to look at like what did we do together, and I got a huge download that was like stream of consciousness. Like I know it's real because and basically what I got, and it was through this altar, who I think his name is Alexander. Andrew. This altar is Andrew. So this is like a new altar. He's positive. The first time I heard about him, somebody messaged me. Was like, "Hey, I was on the ship," and they're like, "It was groovy, man. It was a cool place. Like it wasn't like dark and like bad stuff happening." And you were there, and you said your name was Andrew. I was like, "Okay," and that was the first time I connected with this altar. And anyway, so I was looking into this, and I've had a lot of different memories of it. And I never knew like what the ship was called or like what was going on with it. But I got this download. Like I guess it was maybe like an altar helping me with it, like the Andrew himself maybe like just helping me get the memories because he's in me, he's a part of me. And he just showed me like the Black Midas. The Black Midas has the golden touch to anchor in the golden timeline, and he was talking about just like how. He explained to me how he was like explaining to me how like timelines work and how like realities work and how these dark forces have like armies that they'll like send into other realities, and how we'll actually go in and stop it before it happens, or it just remnants. Like sometimes like timeline war will happen and they'll destroy the negative timeline or get sucked into a good one. But there's these remnants left over, artifacts, like objects and things that are from the other timeline, because timelines merge and branch out and stuff like that. And so our job on the ship, the Black Midas, is to make sure that none of these weird leftovers that happen from when timeline splits and merges happen, we make sure that none of them suck people back into negative timelines. Because timelines are weird. It's like a quantum thing. Like people can like step in and out of different timelines and stuff. So in a way, we're almost like timeline referees, like keeping like negative forces at bay and not allowing them to come in. And we got this huge fucking warship. It's giant. It's intimidating. It has weaponry. Like we will fuck you up if we have to. We don't want to, but we'll do it if we have to. And basically, I'm getting a ringing in my ear. This one's gonna be a big one, you guys. This is a doozy. I'm getting ringing in my ear. But anyway,
I actually wait, Arkheim, stop. I gotta tell you something. I don't mean to interrupt.
Okay,
I got a heavy ringing in my ear when I was remote viewing. I think it was my right ear. I got the loudest ringing in my ear when I was remote viewing. I wrote it down in the data.
Well, one of the reasons why I was really excited about doing this is I think these guys that have used me in these projects is, I mean, you've all heard my story. This is the audience for the show. A lot of dark stuff, a lot of evil shit, right? And I think they want me to like only talk about that. And I think that like they don't like it when it's like, no, the reason why they take us is because we're powerful, because we have power, and they are weak, so they gotta take us when we're children, mind control us, do all this crazy shit. But on our own volition, when we're left to our own accord, we usually decide to do good and be a part of something good. And I think that's what this Black Midas is. And I'll be honest, part of the reason why I wanted you to remote view it is because my memories of it aren't super duper like vivid and clear, but I have some memories. I have memories of the hydroponic bay where they grow all the food and walking down it, and how there's like to the right and the left, there's like organic, like food being hydroponically grown. I remember that there's like a shop section, which they call the promenade, kind of like on Deep Space Nine. It's a lot like that. There's like little shops and stuff like that, and places to hang out. And there's even little parks that are like artificial parks that have soil and trees and everything. And there's a dome on the top so you can look up and you can see the stars and like see where you're at and stuff. But it's like, I remember the ship. I remember a lot about it. And I remember that Sean is there. And Sean, I think his name on the ship is Jordan, just like my name's not, it's Andrew. And his job is training the kids on how to use their psychic abilities, on how to, like, he works with children a lot. He on telekinesis, things like that, like training them on their abilities. And then also, he's a part of negotiations a lot, too. I am, too. We'll a lot of times we'll go to planets and we'll be like, hey, there's like the negative ET interfering with your government. We can help you get rid of them. And what we try to help them kind of show how their government could work and how things could be better on their planet and they could be run more efficiently. And, like just get rid of the fat and you could run way better. You know what I mean? These people that are, I don't know, we just help people stuff. And sometimes they're resistant and they don't want the help. They want to keep things the way they are because it's how people are. So we kind of just have to be like, okay, and let them do it. But we try to give them the option at least, because free will, you have to respect free will. But basically our job is just going around and fighting like the Aquino Satanists, the Temple of Set, like people like that, and there's tons of them. They all have different religions and they're all slightly different. They might have different deities in them and stuff, but they basically worship chaos. They believe in creating order out of chaos. So anytime chaos is being sown, that's usually when we show up and go, where the fuck are these guys? We got to take care of this shit. And we stand up against them. And we're literally doing that right now in this timeline. It's happening here in this timeline as well. And what's crazy about this is, in a past show where you did a remote view where I was like on a ship and you said I was the best in the business and I was exhausted and all this stuff, I believe that was the Black Midas. I believe that's where I was. And so, like I said, me and Sean are both serving on it. And there's other people in this community that I don't want to say names because I don't know if they'll be comfortable or agree with me or whatever. They might not remember it and they might feel weird about me talking about them. So I'm going to respect that and not say it. But there's like 3 or 4 other people in this community that I also remember being on the Black Midas and being a part of it. And so I just want to remind people, I guess, like, this is just a message of like hope and that like it's not all bad, and there are entire armies and like ETs and like angelic forces and stuff like that are out there that are on our side. It's not all just like the Satanist bad guys like harming children and doing evil stuff. Like, the reason why they hide it all, and I've said this on your show before, I'm sure, It's because they're cowards. If they didn't hide everything, that's really all they got going for them. They're not powerful. They're like magicians that keep everything secret. And the reason why we're exposing them is because without their secrecy and hiding everything, without that, they're very weak. They're very weak. So that's what we're here doing, is to transmute that darkness and to just help bring things to, I guess, a higher timeline. It sounds very wild, very woo and stuff like that, I know, but that's part of the reason why I like tasking with these targets, is it helps kind of ground it in reality and show that I'm willing to, the proof is in the pudding. I'm willing to test what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I'm really excited to go over this data with you.
It's not, listen, nothing's too woo for this channel, Arkheim. Okay. And I think that's why people tune in. Okay. Because I am not scared to push the limits and to push the boundaries of stuff, you know, and I've had people comment recently saying that they enjoy watching this channel because I talk about stuff that other people are scared to talk about. And I bring guests on and we just think outside the box. And there's no judgment here. And the fact that I'm given blind targets, I'm just given a set of numbers and I get all this wild data and it pertains to the target a lot of times. And so maybe it can give it a little, I just want to say it kind of backs up what you're talking about, considering I just am given a blind target.
Yeah. So, and I just think that's really important. I think I recommend people who are secret space program whistleblowers and people who, it's even for me, honestly, it's nice to just kind of get that validation and proof for an audience and stuff like that. But even just to help with my memories, like the things you see when you're viewing things and stuff like that, a lot of times I'm like, oh, I know what that is. Cause like you don't have the context that, even though my memories aren't all activated, they're in there. And when I see certain things, it's like, oh yeah. So it's like, that's why I love doing these shows with you, is because it's like, and I recommend it to anybody, like I said, who's in this SSP thing, who is going through the stuff, whether it's you, Jessica, or some other remote viewer. It's nice. It's a great thing, a great resource that we have to be able to work with remote viewers and help figure out the truth of the matter. And even like some of the stuff like Barry talks about, like holographic memories and things like that, which is real. That kind of stuff exists. And this is another way that we can break through and see what's real and what's not and kind of help with that. So yeah, I really thank you for your service, Jessica, and thank you for using your skills and presenting them publicly like this, because it helps everybody. It helps so much. So thank you.
Well, thank you. You know what? Coming out as a Bigfooter was no big deal, but coming out as a remote viewer, I got really attacked by a lot of people, especially people in the Bigfoot community and Dogman and stuff. But it's okay because people are warming up to it now. Okay, and it's becoming more mainstream. Okay, it wasn't mainstream when I first went public, and so I'm glad that I can help. I love doing this. It's my favorite thing to do. I want to thank Firewater by Design. She says the Cryptid Huntress is the best live, has the best live chat on YouTube. Be sure to hit the like button. Yeah, y'all hit the like button. Okay. Thank you, Firewater by Design. And so, yeah, I do have the best audience here. Everybody is very open. A lot of people have had experiences even similar to y'all's. Okay. And people are really waking up to the idea that they might have been in some of these programs as well.
Yeah, that's a global phenomenon. Every school in the United States has these guys coming in doing the talented and gifted testing and trying to find people who might have abilities. Every school, every public school in the United States. So it makes you wonder how, like, what's the percent? Like, I don't know even. I could guess like 13%. I don't know what it is, but it's more common than people think it is. And yeah, that's why we're here as a resource, really, is to help people understand that they could be in this stuff. And that's why I do my consultations with people, and Sean as well. That's what we're here for, is because we're all in this together. We're not really special. Like, this is more common than people really know. It's out there. And you know, I mean, coming from Wisconsin, like, growing up, like, I heard all sorts of weird stories about UFOs, mass abductions, people with missing memory. It's just people didn't feel comfortable about talking about it. It's a taboo. And so that's what we're trying to do over here is make people understand you don't have to feel weird. This is a safe place. We can talk about this and we can figure it out, frankly. That's what we're trying to do over here, is figure all this out and kind of ground it in reality, because it's happening. It's a real phenomenon that really is occurring.
It is. And you know, when I was in elementary school, I was taken aside and I remember I was given a hearing test or something, but I don't know if it was a tag program kind of thing, but I remember listening to all the tones and the frequencies and stuff. And I just, thinking back to it, I'm like, I don't think I got into the gifted program. I don't remember. Okay. Hopefully that I played dumb and I was hidden. Okay. Hopefully. But
when we went into that stuff for me, Arkheim, that triggered a lot. Like the eye test, the sound tests. I was pulled aside a bunch of times into the nurse's office and kept getting tests over and over again. And I didn't remember that for a long time, and I was like, "What the hell?"
And were you the one who told me that they said you had high spatial awareness?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's good for combat. That's great for combat. So like, think about that. Like, that's such a weird thing to like test a kid on, and isn't it? And then be like, "Oh, you're great spatial awareness." Like, think about how it's kind of odd, if you ask me.
It's pretty odd, y'all. It is. And looking back on it, we're all getting these memories back to stuff like that. Now, Sean, when I met you at Montauk, okay, we hung out. You're freaking awesome. We had a great time. But we didn't really talk about your history, potentially being in the secret space program. Now, did you know when I met you, were you familiar that maybe like you had been in these programs, you had suspicions, or did you know for sure? Or is this all kind of just coming back to you now?
I knew about it. It's, I get a lot of evidence for it in targeting, and I can psychic track and look at things, remote view, and memory retrieval meditation. And throughout my life, I've been like big in psionics, so that's why I formed the Psionic League. So I'm in a world that's kind of doesn't know about it or had the wisdom keepers destroyed. So I'm wanting to bring back magic and psionics and reverse engineer it for people and get them to understand how to do manifest each ability, because everyone can learn this stuff. And it's just tons. As I got into it and learned how to translate things I'm dealing with, and there's just tons of blocks on people, like tons. And I've been making hundreds of journals on all the things I find as I unlock each ability. My healing ability is really good. I can get rid of pain and like negative emotions like super quick. But a lot of other of the top tier abilities that come like telekinesis and teleportation, those are higher levels and they have more targeting on them, and they have a lot more blocks. So there's all these blocks, limits, binding chains, limitation matrices, stealing, theft of the density of energy. So I'd been tracking that back for a while, all the entities or attachment or psychic vampires that it comes from. And a lot of them go back to the government, military, underground bases, and then like points in my timeline that just keep coming up. And then eventually I translate it, and then it goes into being abducted, temporal dilation, put back as if you never left. And most of them, at least for me, are them taking my DNA and then making clones, and then an extension of my soul experiencing that. But the Midas thing, not a clone. Actual taken and then put back eventually from deep into the future. It seems to be a very long timeline. And I've run multiple.
Yeah, there's a lot of like, so my memories are limited, and I want to be perfectly clear. There's stuff I can't talk about, even if I do remember it. Like, it's the most annoying thing in the world. There's stuff I want to tell certain people that I can't say all the time and stuff. But I know that like I've been to like the very vast future, far future, and then like back in time, like recently, and I'm like seeing things, and like they're like doing all these timeline changes right now, and it's a crazy. There's a lot of crazy stuff happening on right now, and I can't even remember all of it. Like I can't even remember all of it, but I'm sensing that like a merge actually just happened. And it was either gonna merge. It was like here's the negative, here's the positive, right? And Sean, tell me what you think of this, because this is what I'm sensing, and I know you got a good intuitive sense. It was like there was a split, and there are these two timelines, and they had to merge. And one of them had to be the big bully, big boss, and take over and be the main timeline when they merged. Like it was a more negative one and a little bit more of a positive one, right? One of them had to kind of be like, all right, I'm the one in charge now. And I think we're at the point now where the kind of push, pull back and forth of merge into the timeline. And I think we're at this merging point where we are actually entering like a more positive timeline. Like there's a lot of chaos, a lot of things happening right now. It's kind of hard to understand what's going on, but you got to understand the status quo of the things what were going on before. Like it just couldn't have kept on going on. It would have been a slow burn, and it would have been bad, and people would have been complacent, and it wouldn't have been good, and nothing would have changed. We needed change. So regardless of how people think about like the environment going on right now, people got to keep that in mind, that change was pertinent, change was needed, and it's all about how you respond to all the chaos. You don't let chaos win. So don't want to go too deep into it, like, and you know, because obviously that goes into world events right now and stuff like that's what we're talking about. But I just want to remind people of that. And yeah, I really honestly am just interested in the data you got on this target. Like I'm really fascinated. I know I saw it on paper, but when you explain it, it always really helps the information shine that much more. So I'm really interested in what you picked up on.
It does. Well, you know, go ahead, Sean. What you got to say?
Thanks. I know I want to hear what you say. Yeah, I got the vision. I get like whenever I ask about the future, it gives me a bunch of ideograms in data of a symbolic representation, and it gave me like a rocket ship. And as long as people are doing enough to, it's like a rocket ship re-entering the atmosphere. It's shaky. There's it's heating up on the outside. Things are like kind of feel like they're about to fall apart. But as long as everyone's kind of like maintaining the ship, it will be all right, and it will get to a really good timeline destination.
Oh yeah, no, we're 100% on a good timeline. If you guys are watching this right now, we are on a positive trajectory. Okay, in humankind history. Okay, man.
Yeah, I didn't even say either. I don't know if you saw in the comments in the last show I did, Sean, with you. There was someone in the comments who was like, they're like my roommate was just talking to me from the bathroom, and now they're sleeping in their room, and they're like, I think I just entered a more positive timeline. So maybe that's you, Sean, coming on the show.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And we can go into timeline ability. We can go into timeline abilities for the show too, to get the audience involved out there as well. I go into that ability quite a bit. It's really fun, useful. But I'd love to hear more about what you guys have to talk about for bases of this. I also tune into a bunch on this, and there's multiple of these type of crews going around through the timeline, making it better. So we're giving a representation that then people can see there's multiple of these, and then
it's not just humans either, is it, Sean? We're just part of like the human division. Like
we're the 3D division, the three-dimensional division.
Three-dimensional, like this Black Midas and the group, the soul group we're part of. I don't even know. This is such beyond like Earth terms, because the way we think here, it's kind of hard to explain it. But like we're part of like this big thing, and our ship is just, and it's not even just humans. We have ET on our ship too. But it's like a more like humanoid species and stuff like that. And there's just all sorts of these ships going around. Let's be real, guys. These people who have done all this stuff to our Earth, these Satanists and stuff like that, who are being exposed right now, who the fuck wants that? Nobody wants that.
Not me.
Yeah, like every being.
Some people do.
Yeah, but like the 90% of everybody just wants the same stuff. They want to be able to eat good food, be with the people they love, live a long life, be healthy, be able to express themselves and be who they are without being afraid of not being able to do that, being persecuted. It's real simple. Everybody wants the same stuff, and it takes a lot of effort and a lot of mental gymnastics, and frankly, just too much energy to keep this shit going. And what we're experiencing right now is everybody knows the status quo and what's going on right now in the world. It's like it sucks, and it needs to change. But it's hard to imagine. Okay, what does the world look like? How do we change the paradigm and make the world not suck anymore? That's where we're at right now. It's like everybody knows something needs to change, but we're like, okay, but how? You know what I mean? So it's coming, and all I gotta say is it's coming. The paradigm is shifting. It's coming.
It's here. Well, it's here right now, and we're we're like in this little time bubble right now, us three and the audience, everybody who's listening in right now. We're changing the timeline just by being here tonight. And by discussing this and you guys talking about the testimony of you guys, of your memories of it and this remote viewing data, it's actually doing a lot to advance the consciousness of everybody that's listening right now, including myself. And I wanted to thank, I've got Lavera that gave a super sticker. Thank you so much. Yes, we have great guests over here. I really do. And Wink at Me. Thank you so much. She says, Jessica, we are the Two Woo Crew.
I love that name. That's awesome. Two Woo Crew. I like that a lot.
Not to be confused with Two Live Crew. Okay, we're live, but this is Two Woo Crew. I love it. Okay. And what a great time, y'all, to be alive. It really is. Because this is not your cookie cutter, like Barry says, it's not your cookie cutter type of a topic. Okay. And not everybody's talking about this. And you guys are super duper brave and awesome to be coming on the show to talk about it, to expose these things. Okay. And so, yeah, so let's just get into it. Okay. Let's get into the data tonight. Data is my favorite word. Fantastic and data are my two favorite words, actually. Okay. So the actual target that Arkheim, you sent to me, you sent me a set of coordinate numbers. That's all I had. I had 8 numbers. That's all I had. But the actual target is, let's see, it is the Black Triangle Galaxy class warship. Now, I'm going to show a picture. Now, Arkheim, I did not consult with you before the show about what it looked like. Okay, and so I have a couple of pictures where I felt like this might be what it looks like, and so I put this on the thumbnail. I mean, how close to this is what you guys experienced? Do you know?
Pretty close, except there's no like wings on it. It's just like just a straight it's just a triangle. But that's pretty close. Yeah, okay. It's pretty close.
I just typed in Galaxy class, and you know what's really odd? It's not odd. It shouldn't be odd. Star Wars, okay, has a Galaxy class, spaceship. And that's what it's called. And so it made me think, like, so was Star Wars based off of the secret space program programs?
Yes, a lot of it was. Basically, okay, so this is interesting. Okay. And shout out to Kat. Like, a lot of like the weird information I have is from her. So Kat was
your
one
fiance.
Yeah, my fiance.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's awesome.
Yeah. She I guess like he was a motorcycle racer or something, and he got in an accident. And he said when he was in a coma, he had all these crazy dreams and stuff. And that's where all the movies were like fully formed ideas. And so it makes me wonder, was he in the programs? Was it down like uploaded into his consciousness? Who knows? But I've told you THX 1138, like that movie, like I've been to a reality like that. So much stuff. Yeah, Star Wars is based off the Orion Wars. 100% it is. Yeah, that's true. And like, yeah, so much of it mirrors reality. So yeah. Orion and Lion Wars, Jedi versus Sith. Yeah, totally. I mean, it's kind of like if you're SSP watching Star Wars, honestly, it can trigger recall and stuff like that. It can be a little much sometimes. Almost, it can be like overwhelming to watch sometimes.
Okay, so I gotta tell everybody, the audience, I'm a Jedi when it comes to all this stuff, right? And so there was actually a Project Jedi that our government. Where we got this Project Stargate, we got Project Jedi, these different programs that our government has utilized for remote viewing. Okay. And I was never a part of those programs. First of all, I'm too young. Okay. For some of those, but I'm taught in the same ways that our military has been taught in remote viewing. Okay. And that's all I'm going to say about that is I've been taught in the same methods, particularly Ingo Swann methods, actually. As well. So that's the kind of remote viewing I do. But yes, the head of my team was like, you are just a bunch of Jedis. Okay, you're my Jedis. So I think it's really cool that there's such a connection there to space, to Star Wars and to these programs, secret space program and the remote viewing program. It all goes hand in hand, guys. Just saying.
Definitely does.
Yeah. And Sean, you are very much into the psionics of all of this. Now, psionics is a word that has become a hot topic the past couple of weeks. And that's from the whistleblowers that have been coming out that are talking about how they're using psionics. They're using remote viewers to communicate with the ETs and the UFOs. How cool is that, Sean?
Right. Yeah. It's going to come out. We're going to have eventually, in the lines of renaissances, the psionic mind over matter renaissance will be big. That will change a lot for the world. Solve a lot of problems. So big industries with that will come on and also evolve us incredibly massively, especially as it goes to macrocosmic emissions off of people's bodies that will affect the evolution of beyond just themselves and the whole collective consciousness of the planet. So big bursts and then inventions going along with it, like psionic amplifiers. But a lot of these projects have these things already, but they don't want to share, or there's reasons because there's negative time travelers too, and a lot of ETs that come visit me, as an example, afterwards they get attacked. So there's like a big matrixy system around the planet that's controlling and punishing things that happen that go against its matrix line, which that can be the global narrative that can be resolved more and more as we find the core aspects of its anchor, which is part of what the ship crew does. But many other people are doing this great work. It's very needed, but it's totally real. Everyone can learn it. Teach it. Teach all kinds of things. So it's on my site. There's video upon video of evidence of people doing superhuman abilities, telekinesis, teleportation, levitation, healing at a high level to where they can shrink tumors, all kinds of stuff. It's gonna be big in solving so many problems. Every problem has a psionic ability that can go along with it, pretty much.
Yes, absolutely. And so what people are hearing right now in the, I'm going to say in pop culture almost, with these whistleblowers, it's coming out that they are controlling UFOs with their minds. Okay. And
I remember I just had a like flash the past. Do you guys remember there's this dude, he was on the news. And he's like, it's like this black guy, and he's like, I can make spaceships appear, I can make UFOs appear, yeah. and the news is just like, nah, shut the fuck up. And he's like, come on, I'll show you. And sure enough, this thing shows up. He's like, see, these are my buddies. Like, it was on the news. Like people act like this stuff is so wild, but that guy was literally on mainstream, like normal news, and that was like 15, 20 years ago.
Nice. I've seen it myself. I experienced it. So I was up in North Carolina about 10 or 12 years ago. And I was with Chief David, who is an elder of the Cherokee in Cherokee, North Carolina. And he called in he said that he's from the stars, that his ancestors are star people. And he called in the sky ships over cachers is what the locals call it. And I watched as he took his crystal. He had like a staff or a wand, and it had a crystal on the end. And I don't know exactly what he did, but he called in these UFOs, and they hovered over us all weekend. Both nights that I was there, 2 or 3 nights, they were there every time he called them in. So I've seen
there's tribes, certain native tribes and stuff like that have their own like breakaway planets. I remember there's the Zulu tribe from Africa. You know them? They got their own planet. They got their own planet. It's crazy. Really nice planet. Really, really beautiful planet. Kind of like Arabic, like looking, kind of like architecture and stuff like that. Really nice place. But I remember when I was there, I was delivering something, and they knew that I would work with Nacht Waffen, the Germans, and they're like, were afraid of me because of that. And they made me stay in this one room. It was a whole thing. But there's like tribes, like native tribes. So like we get this whole idea passed down to us that like they were like so primitive and and like the reality is that's like altered history. And some of these they're like super advanced, like crystal technology, had like starships and stuff like that. And they decided like they just wanted to stay here and live more simply and just stuff like that. And like the whole narrative that we get on a lot of these different cultures and stuff like that is totally off. Like when we arrived in the United States, like I don't know, like white settlers or whatever you call it. There's already stuff going on here. Even Tom Green, which is really random, but he has a show where he shows in the middle of Arizona, there's this like abandoned city, and it's from before Columbus, before the Americas came here, and it's got stone structures and like buildings and stuff like that. You can literally still go there. So like, and I'm sure you've heard about Tartaria, the mud floods, and all that crazy stuff. Our whole history has been altered to look a certain way. They say it's written by the victors, and there's a great truth to that.
You know what? Okay, well, it's all about timeline deception, and our timelines have been completely, skewed. Okay, for our consumption, and people say it's the Rockefeller, scholastic, education system. All right, that's what people say, but nonetheless, our timelines have been skewed a lot, and that's a lot of what has to do with you guys being on this ship, right? Is being basically time cops, right?
Yeah, that's basically what we're doing. I mean, because what it is okay. These guys will come in. They'll try to go back in time, pull some fucking sleazy shit so they can make money or do whatever. And we come in and we go, no, you can't do this. We see what you're doing. Like, stop. Like, or we'll physically stop them. And so it's like we're very much so like peaceful. We're of the love and we're of the light, but we're not afraid to, use force if we have to. Because these people, sometimes that's the only thing they understand, unfortunately. And it's a hard job, like you said. Like, you got that data from that other target. What did it say? I'm the best in the business, and yes. I'm exhausted. I'm just tired. I'm just tired. Yes. Like, and that's real. I feel it some days when I wake up. I'm like, what was I doing last night? Gee, like seriously. Like when people are like, what's like in the comments? They're like, man, I can't imagine Arkheim's life. Like, what is it like? Yeah, it is. Seriously, it's nuts. It's nuts. I'm sure Sean can say the same thing. I mean, I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm glad to be able to help protect timelines and do that. But it's a lot of work and it is exhausting. And then you don't remember. That's another part. It drives you insane. Like, I got to have you. That's, like I said, one of the reasons why I like doing these targets with you is you're able to see things and it helps jog my memory. Because it is kind of, I wish I could remember, like, where was Andrew born? What planet was he born on? How did he get there? I'm so confused about it all, right? And when I'm learning with this, you keep on seeing the black cube. Did you see the black cube at all on this target?
The black cube?
Yeah, you keep on seeing in all the targets that.
Oh my gosh. I always have a cube in my data. That's so wild because Renee in the chat, Renee just posted something about a cube and how, my team has experienced a cube. We have it on a video where we consider the cube, I call it the black cube. I've always called it the black cube. But it was actually, you couldn't see it with your naked eye. We have it on video through a FLIR or a thermal imaging video where this gigantic cube showed up in the middle of an open field, and we sent a couple of my teammates were sent over to it to go check it out, and their heat signatures disappeared when they went into it. And they said the entire environment changed and they knew something was off. So they backed out of it. They didn't know they were in it, but they backed out. And they said that everything changed back to normal when they came out of it and their heat signatures reappeared. We always call that the portal because we don't know exactly what to call it. But since then we've had a lot of, even on David Paulides, Missing 411, the UFO connection, that's a documentary. And there's a gentleman talking about a cube that he encountered that was kind of invisible. You kind of see the outline of it in a field, and he ended up getting taken off world inside this cube. These cubes are very common. Renee had mentioned the cubes in the chat a while ago. There's something about these cubes.
So from my understanding, they're AI, they're artificial intelligence, and this is what it is. I'm going to explain it. I don't think I've ever heard anybody else explain this before, so here we go. We're going to try. AI, so we're in a computer. We're like, and I know that's controversial, but just for the sake of entertainment, right? For the sake of just hear me out. I'm not saying you have to believe me, do your own research, but for the sake of entertainment, just hear me out, listen to me. We're in a computer, okay? This is not real. And basically one of the things that's able to keep us like in this illusion is our limited computing power of our brains. We only have so much computing power, right? We only have so much thoughts we can process, so much information we can think at one time. So it kind of helps keep us limited in this 3D reality. Well, when you create a supercomputer that can think at an unlimited pace, it can disappear, reappear, have control things. Like it can hack the computer. It's like, because it has the processing power to do it. That's the really layman's term, simple way of explaining it. And I think, yeah, that maybe that's what they're encountering, and I think that there's more than one too. And like I think there's more than one of these black cube AIs. They're not all the same. Some of them are more positive, some of them are more negative. And what I think, the reason why I think you keep on getting the black cube in these targets is because it's the Montauk AI sending me around to different places through time and space, because I was part of the Montauk project. And maybe it's not always I see one of the things we always oversimplify things. I'm also willing to entertain the fact that it might not always be the same AI doing it. I don't know. And one of the reasons why I'm curious about if it came up in this one is because this Montauk AI comes up in like negative targets all the time, right? And this is positive. So I'm just trying to figure out what's the end goal of this black cube AI thing sending me all over the place. Is it good? Is it bad? Like, what's going on? Like, I'm literally trying to figure this out right now for myself.
Okay. Well,
Sean has something to say about
Sean.
it.
Yeah, positive, negative, neutral ones, a lot for information gathering. Some, a lot are AI. Some are, I found that some of the alien artifacts are big cubes with alien stuff around them, and I'll try to find the image for you. But when I read into it, it seemed to be a projection of the consciousness of Earth into it to amplify her retrieval of wholeness of parts of herself in a healing process that also has matrix systems that expand past the device. And there are positive. Matrices are a psionic tool. They're an ability. They're a construct energetically. They can have physical amplifiers for them, but all the matrices were made by good forces. A lot of them were hijacked and stolen by evil, because evil doesn't create things, and then they turn into a corruption, compression, energy harvesting system, and then Earth has like billions overlaid on top of her original hologram of light splitting infinitely that are in hologram within hologram within hologram, going out from Earth to the solar to galactic, and then there's more being attempted to be made overlaid with it. Not all the cubes are bad. The black cubes, a lot of them are the corrupted ones, and they go into a system of domination and control. With you, I would probably say it's a core point of. Are you saying you see them in visions?
No. What it is yeah. So every time I give her, we realized this in the last show. She's like, "Hey, Arkheim, like, you know what I just realized? I don't know why. Just realizing it now. Like, this black cube keeps showing up. Like, this is like the third or fourth or fifth time or whatever where it's showed up. It's repeatedly showing up." And so that shows a commonality, and I do believe.
Look at this.
So there's a cube. So it's like
it's another cube. I drew another cube.
So like, yeah, like I can't imagine this one's got to be good. The Black Midas is. Yeah. Well, and also, what did your data get? Did it feel? What did it feel like? Did it feel positive though, Jessica?
Okay, well, let's get into the data, y'all. Let's do the data. Okay, and I mean, we could do a show just on cubes, okay, because cubes do come up a lot. Like I said, my team calls it the portal. The cube was a portal because the entire environment changed when our teammates went into it, and like I've mentioned before, both of those teammates have passed away since they went into that portal, and we do believe they got hit with some pretty serious radiation. Okay, and both got health problems after that. And okay, all right. Shout out to Bob and Tim, R.I.P. And I love both of them very dearly. They were both family to me. And the stuff that we're doing out there in these fields is not safe sometimes, y'all. Okay, and so just keep that in mind. And for whatever reason, there's a lot of radiation involved, or a little bit of radiation in a lot of the stuff that we're doing out in these fields. Whenever there's some kind of paranormal activity that goes down, or something like a cube shows up. So, okay. Well, let's get into it. All right, so we're looking into this Warcraft ship. Okay, now I'm going to pull this. I'll pull this picture back up. It kind of looks similar to how you guys described it, but it's a little bit different. It's more of a just triangular.
It's a very good approximation just to kind of show people like it's pretty close. And it's just like I said, it's just like at the back of it, it's more just like closed. Like there's not really wings on it. It's just kind of more just a straight triangle, but close enough.
Well, okay. Well, when I looked it up and I was looking at Galaxy class, I found this from, I think it was a Star Trek, actually. This is Star Trek. And they have a Galaxy class Starfleet.
And I can explain what Galaxy class means.
Okay, what does that mean?
A Galaxy class means basically it can go from galaxy to galaxy, and it can go really far, and it can also go to it can open a portal, so it can go to other timelines and stuff like that. So, and some ships, they're like, it'd be, I don't know, I forget what the name for it is, but if you can only stay within one galaxy, it wouldn't be called the Galaxy class. I forget what they call it, Dreadnought class maybe or something. I can't remember, but like, yeah, Galaxy class just means that it's people live in these things, okay? Like, and they go far. And they go far. Like people spend their whole lives on these things. People are born and die on them. Like they're literally like a planet basically, like a little ecosystem that they got their own. Like I said, we had hydroponics, we were growing food, there were shops, like it's a place you could visit. People would get picked up from certain planets to go other places, and it's like you're visiting the ship while you're going to, kind of like how Zeppelins were on when Zeppelin realities are a thing. But I'm going on and on, sorry.
I love it. I wanted to bring this up real quick. Renee says the phenomenon of time dilation. He's talking about, he's stressed a couple of times in the chat about the importance of time dilation. And that has a lot to do with what we're talking about tonight, where time passes slower for a moving object, leading a perceived length contraction along the direction, motion making the cube appear slightly flattened along one axis. Thank you, Renee. I appreciate that. Okay. Y'all pay attention to some of his comments. He knows what he's talking about. Okay. Okay. So let's get into the data. Okay. So I have sensory data. I have analytic overlay data. I have that picture that you saw. I drew a little sketch and it was another cube. By the way, it looked like a square, but I'm assuming it was another cube. Okay. And so let's get into it. And I also have ideograms and stuff, but that's just how I get all my information. Okay, so for part of my sensory data, this may or may not make any sense. Okay, hard, microscopic, tiny brown gray, old, disrupted, purple, backward, and tired. Okay, that was my sensory data. Now what I'm making sense of as I'm writing that sensory data down is my analytic overlay, and I'm going to go down the list. I'm just going to give you all the analytic overlay tonight. Minutes and hours, forever, timepiece, time travel, ancient, scored, tallied the score, lenient, on loan. I wrote on loan, disruption, and then I got into royalty data. Okay, so I wrote down a king, crowned, the crown, bloodlines, royal, and then disassociate. Okay. Isn't that like a dissociative disorder or something? Isn't that like a thing?
Dissociative identity disorder.
Oh,
which
okay.
is what I have. That's what alters come from and stuff like that. So
interesting.
Amnesia barriers made through trauma, and then they box in the alter. The alter branches off the soul.
And they have different personalities too.
Ego alters.
Oh, wow.
Program, and they link.
Okay, well, that was in my data. So I wrote disassociate, pull back, ongoing, official, and tabulation. Okay, like they're keeping tabs on something. Okay, and that was my first page. And you guys saw the drawing that I made. It looked like a square or a cube. That was my data. Now, what I was seeing was I was almost in the cube on the second page on my stage 4 data. I felt like I was kind of like inside of a cube when I was getting the rest of this data, which sounds kind of weird, but my ears started ringing, just like I wrote down ears ringing. Okay, Arkheim. And I heard wall to wall because I felt like I was inside the cube, and ears ringing. I started picking up on ancient Sumerian artifacts. Okay, I don't know what kind of connection that has, but I wrote ancient Sumerian, Sumer, and a tablet. And I actually was seeing like a tablet. It was like a stone that had carvings in it and stuff. It looked like a carved stone. It was a tablet. It was carved. I was getting something it was ancient, but it was space age. Is what I wrote down. Yeah. Space age stone. Okay, what is that? What is that, Sean?
This is one of the alien artifacts. It's one of the older ones. It's an obelisk. It came with a Stargate portal in it. So here's here's an ET on it in a spirit form. The ones we found have cuneiform Sumerian as well as Egyptian hieroglyphs, like the sun reads. Here's another side of it. It also has this pyramid sign, but that's also taken.
Yeah, Sean's got all sorts of artifacts. You could have him back on the show just for a whole show on these artifacts he's got, because it's like literally he should be on like the History Channel. He should be like being interviewed by CNN and Fox News and NBC. Like seriously, like he found real, actual alien artifacts.
Yeah, we got the video of them digging them up. So. Yeah, we're gonna go to the dig site again. We're gonna get new artifacts in a few days. So yeah, they're coming out to you. But yeah, ET with wings, a ringed planet, maybe Saturn. It's got teleportation energy. Here's another one as an example. Yeah, all these artifacts emit tons of powerful energy. This emits a lot of reality bubble magic. Let's see, it has the pyramid eye, wind symbols. It's an athame, which used to cut open doorways, make portals, cut cords. Each of these ones are made by a type of humanoid that saw ETs, and the ETs entangle with it. They're like venerated like deities. And here's a guy with a drum and like.
Oh my God! Okay. Crystal. Sean, this is going to blow your mind right now. Okay.
Yeah.
So to go on with this data, so I picked up, so there's something called, I literally wrote down the Hearn tablet. I also wrote down the Strongs, that's Stephen and Evan Strong. Oh my God, this is wild that you're showing this right now.
Yeah, this guy's really cool.
Blind target, y'all. Okay, blind target. I wrote down the Strongs. After I wrote down Carved Stone, I wrote down the Strongs. Now, I interviewed Stephen and Evan Strong on Spaced Out Radio one night. And I was sitting in for Dave Scott, and they're out of Australia, and they actually have what they consider to be extraterrestrial technology that's carved in stones, just like what you have. And they said, and they claimed that they also have a moon-eyed person skull in their possession. The government has been after them for a long time. There's actually a point where they couldn't even leave their home. The Smithsonian was trying to borrow their artifacts for a while, and they refused to give them to them. And that's kind of when the government came after them in Australia. They have something they stand behind. It's called the Out of Australia theory, where all human life was seeded out of Australia by extraterrestrials. Okay, and that's their thing. So what a weird. Okay, so this is in my data. I actually wrote that down. I actually wrote down the Strong's space age and the Hearn. Now the Hearn tablet is something different too. Now that was in my data as well. I don't know what kind of connection that has, but there's something that was found in the troop herd corridor where I do my Bigfoot research, where they have mass alien abductions with military involvement. By the way, people who have been abducted out of the troop herd corridor have been documented in it, claiming that the military was there alongside the ETs as they were being abducted. Okay.
Wow.
And, so in that area, this woman was gardening back in the 1970s, I think, and she dug up something they called the Hearn tablet, and this is like a stone that has Sumerian writing on it, carved in it. Okay, so all this is in my data. Okay, it went down. I thought I was remote viewing some kind of like ancient stone that was ancient alien technology. That's what I thought I was remote viewing for a while. But anyways, so that was in my data. I actually was picking up on something that was, it said tested, tried and true is what I heard. Tried and true. I was picking up on microwaves. Okay, microwaves and fallout. Now, I don't know if that's nuclear fallout or what, but I was picking up on that. I also picked up on, I heard shell game. I don't know what shell game means, but I heard that.
Where you move around the cups and put a thing under it.
Okay.
So
Oh,
hey,
wow. Yeah. Because they're doing that. That's what the bubble swaps. The bubble swaps. That's what the bubble swaps are for. Is moving them around. Oh, put them over here, put them over there, put them over there, and then when you come back to the reality you're from, you're talking about this shit, and it doesn't make it might not even be from the reality you're from. That's what that is. That's what that is, Jessica. That's crazy. Whoa. That's why I love. That's blowing my mind. Oh my gosh.
Okay. Well, I definitely picked up on. I wrote down shell game. I also got, I was feeling relaxed and tired when I was doing this. And so I just wanted to note that, I wrote down the long game. Okay. So this is a long game. This has been going on for a long time.
You know what? A quote from me from many past lives when they were basically, admonishing me, I told them, my patience is eternal. Therefore I will always win.
Oh, you know what?
We're playing the long game.
We're playing the long game. I actually, I was just thinking, today, I was like, man, I have had to learn patience this lifetime. My entire, I think part of my life just revolves around patience and time travel. Okay. And timelines, just like with you guys. This is so cool. And you know what? And there's a reason we're here right now doing this. But because we're in it for the long game. We're in it for the long haul. This is a long game. Okay. Now I actually, so these are some things that I wrote down that may or may not make sense. I wrote down poet, and I wrote down looked up to, esteemed, something that was in esteem.
That's maybe talking about me and because like Alondra, for instance, talks about musicians aren't really real. We're all poets. I don't know. So he doesn't call, even though he's plays saxophone and piano and all this different stuff. Alondra's a brother of mine, Montauk brother. He calls himself a poet, and that's kind of comes from the breakaway, that's kind of how they look at it out there more. And I'm known for that. I wrote so many songs that people grew up to and fell in love to, and people propose to their girlfriends while they're playing, and they play at their weddings and stuff like that. My music has shaped the timeline and the history of Earth, and further than that. So I think that's what that's talking about. I mean, alter versions of me, I play symphony halls and stuff like that for royalty and stuff. And I know that might sound really egotistical and but it's true, and it's not only that, it's in your data.
It is. Okay, Arkheim, before we continue, I had posted on social media the show for tonight, and I posted a performance artist named Aurora, and you sent me a message. You said, "Wow, that's really strange. That's crazy that you picked her." Because why? What does music have to do with the Montauk project?
They use it to make money. One of the things that they'll do is they'll just they are the ones in control of who's famous, who's not. So the whole idea of the devil coming in and selling your soul to the devil, that's actually a Montauk project thing. So John Whitberg, and it wasn't always him, but he'd go in there through a portal with a briefcase that has basically it plays a song, and you can open the briefcase and press the button, and it'll play you the song, and it's got maybe the sheet music for whatever. He'll come in through a damn portal to, I don't know, Kurt Cobain's bedroom or fucking. I'm not giving an actual example here. Kurt Cobain was in the projects. I'm pretty sure that he sold his soul, but basically they say you're selling your soul to the devil, and they sign a contract. They sign their soul over, but what they don't know is they're signing your eternal soul to these time projects to work for them in exchange for them giving you one life of fame and glory and living the dream or whatever. That's what selling the soul to the devil actually is, and where it actually comes from. So that's why so many musicians are in the time projects, is because that was how they got their consent, is by giving them that. So if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And just like
does.
it's been used for mind control, as I told you, like sex mind control and stuff like that. But which honestly just keeps people stupid. If you keep people in the like, you're like, why? Like a lot of people are like, why the sex programming? Because it keeps people stupid. If you're in your root chakra and all you think about is sex, you're not thinking with your brain, you're thinking with your other brain. You know what I mean? So that's why they do that. So, and that's why I think about how many songs really revolve around sex that are like right on the radio, right in the open. Like, I remember, I don't know, like in the 90s when I grew up, there's certain songs that are on the radio now where like that wouldn't have been on the radio when I grew up. Like they got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse over time. You know what I mean? Until what's accepted is kind of wild. But not to be a prude, but it's true. But yeah, it's such a huge aspect of this, and I'm not the only person who they take songs from. I'm not like a Donald Marshall guy who says I wrote all the music. That's not true. There's lots of people. John Whitberg's one of them. Mac Miller actually is one of them. A lot of his music was stolen, and he's in the projects. And tons of people are a part of like writing songs and having their music stolen from them. Not only that, they take songs from other timelines, from other realities. For instance, there's this band called Jet Blue. They're not in this reality, but they're from Detroit in an alternate reality, and they're considered the American Beatles. They call them the American ambassadors of rock and roll. In that reality, because of Jet Blue, America took better care of Detroit because the whole world was looking at Detroit all the time. So Detroit didn't like fall apart like it did in this reality. And they wrote Dream On. Dream On is from Jet Blue. Okay. And Aerosmith, get this. They know they fucking stole the song. They have Joe Perry has a tattoo of Lucifer. What's Lucifer? It's the PSYOPs. It's a symbol for the PSYOPs division of the military.
That's in Denver.
It's a symbol for it's the symbol. Lucifer comes from the PSYOPs division. It's their mascot. It's literally their mascot. It's a horse with red laser eyes. It's called the Dark Horse. That is literally the fucking mascot for the PSYOPs division of the military, and Joe Perry has that on his arm as a tattoo. The song "Dream On" is by a band called Jet Blue. Jet Blue is called the Aerosmith calls their their fans like the Jet Army or something like that. The Jet Army, and then get this. In this reality, there's an airline company called Jet Blue. That's what Jet Blue. That's how they spelled their name, just like that. Jet, but then capital B, Blue, one word. That's how they fucking spelt their band name. Well, get this. I start looking into it. The guy who came up with JetBlue and who came up with the idea, not the investor, because this is a thing in our reality. Like, it's like the Elon Musk effect. Investors don't invent, it's like people, who on paper invented JetBlue isn't the person who actually invented it. It's a guy from Detroit. It's a guy from Detroit who invented JetBlue. And the guy who invested his money, the rich fucker who invested all the money, he said it was originally going to be called Taxi. There were going to be yellow airplanes that said Taxi on them. And because it's based in New York, even though the guy came up with the idea from Detroit. It's based in New York. So it was supposed to be like New York 5 Taxi, but for some reason, the investor, the guy with millions of dollars, I forget his name, billions of dollars, whatever, said, I'll pull out unless you name it JetBlue. Unless you name it JetBlue. Wow. And it's because the guy is from Detroit, and they love showing people in plain sight that they know about the other realities. It's the same reason that why the Nickelodeon award is a Zeppelin. It's because a lot of these kids are in the alternate reality were famous. Like Amanda Bynes, she was from the vaudeville era of comedy. She was considered a pioneer. She was like made it okay for women to smoke cigarettes and be funny and drink and stuff like that. She was part of like shifting the paradigm of the culture and stuff like that. And she was like, like I Love Lucy. She was like Lucy, like that kind of like forever famous in comedy, forever looked up to, a pioneer in all these amazing ways. And they somehow brought her in this reality and used her like in this weird satanic way. I'm going really deep here. I'm going to try to like not go too far, but like
go deep.
The guy who Brian Peck. Okay, get this. He was pen pals. He's the guy who worked on her show. He worked with Dan Schneider, the guy who basically diddled her and stuff like that. He worked with her, and he was pen pals with John Wayne Gacy. Who was on a there's this whole thing. Look into the conspiracy files. Colin Brown, he was exposing on how all these serial killers and stuff were literally on CIA payroll because like the Satanists infiltrated the fucking CIA.
Yeah, he was the clown, the killer clown.
Yes, the killer clown, and he was connected. They all say that he acted alone, but he wasn't. He was a part of the Satanic cult operating in Chicago, called the Ripper Crew. Okay, they're called the Ripper Crew, and
for entertainment purposes only, everybody.
And but basically, he was pen pals with them, and he had a signed painting of Gacy in his house. Wow. So these people, these Nickelodeon people, I want people to understand. Same thing with Disney as well. They're Satanists. They were using these kids ritualistically. They knew who they were. They're MK Ultra. Like it's a whole thing. I'm not sure how we got on this, but. Felt good to say
it's all connected.
It's all
connected. because I'd asked you about Aurora, and that was that song. I'd use her music for our show tonight.
Yeah,
and you said that's interesting that you chose that music because she was part of the program as well. And,
yeah, well, they use it.
Are.
I don't know if she was part of the programs. I'm guessing she probably was, but she has Montauk songs. She has Montauk songs. Like there's songs that I remember from the programs that she has.
Yeah. Wow, it's so wild because we often have discussed how musicians and magicians are very similar, right?
If you guys want to have your mind blown by my testimony and what I say, if you guys know the band Ghost, I've testified to the fact that I have this whole interview on my channel with this Russian guy about I did a whole deep dive with him, and I basically said how the band Ghost, the band that what I'm talking about. I had his poster in my room. And so I finally looked in there. I never really liked their music in this life, which is ironic because I wrote some of it, I found out. So anyway, I want people, after this show, if you remember, look up The Future is a Foreign Land by Ghost. He talks about how he wrote the song in 1969 in the lyrics. He's in the year 1969. He's talking about the future. They show possible negative futures, and they show like people living in like crystal technology colonies and floating cities and stuff, and it's called The Future is a Foreign Land because it's exactly what I say. When people try to ask me what the future is, this timeline's brand new. It's so exciting. It's scary in a lot of ways, but it's so exciting because we've never seen this timeline before. It's brand new. It's never happened before. The future is literally unwritten. We don't know what's going to happen. It's constantly like, so that's what that song's about. So I highly recommend for people who are like, kind of want like sort of proof of it, like, because it's crazy. Just watch the music video. They're literally showing you the lyrics, show it. Very interesting. And I wrote that song.
That's amazing. And we're on mission tonight. Okay. Sean, you and Arkheim, myself, we are here to change the timeline. Okay. To raise the vibe and to guide the timeline into the correct timeline. Right, guys? So I'm super excited to be here. Larry Sharp is raising the vibe tonight. He just gifted 5 the Cryptid Hunters membership. So thank you, Larry. I appreciate that. Yeah, Sean, you know all about timelines too. So thank you for your service tonight as well.
Thank you. Did you get done with your reading with the remote viewing? Because I
have a little bit more. Yeah, I have just a little bit more. Okay, let me finish it up. I'm almost done. I'll do the last page, and I've already done half the last page. But all I had left, the last thing I told you guys was poet. Okay, so I was picking up on a poet and somebody that was looked up to. Okay, an esteemed position, and I kept picking up on like stumbling data, and I wrote down stumbling blocks, and then I heard, okay, so I clairaudiently, the last things that I heard in this target were turn it up, rev it up, and keep going. Okay, that was the last thing. Those are the last things that I wrote down. Keep going, rev it up, and turn it up.
That means we gotta keep going hard.
Yeah,
keep going hard. This information and creating a positive timeline.
Yes.
Continue. And let me know when you don't have any more. I have another show after this. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm done.
I can go into mine because I got another show after this, so I gotta. I don't know how long you want to do this, but I would love to stay longer. So this is what I got in data from it. It comes after an H5 abduction from me that goes back. So there's different timelines in the future, and they're warring with each other. Different factions of control. The one that's interacting with this in a MyLab abduction is a future military for the United States that is 500 years in the future at least, because it kind of sways a little bit because of the timeline changing. And they're more neutral and then positive relations. They're more positive for Earth and humanity interests, and they're willing to do negative stuff to protect. But there are a lot of negative militaries in the future, different timelines that are warring with them. So it took me age 5. There's like whatever the new capital of the United States, which may or may not be DC at that point. And then it interacts with taking various people and a lot of underground bases, and then making a thing with a timeline viewing of the future of who can get things done. The main ship is a crew of over 50 plus people. It's also we train people, so psionically, bunch that will make up crews of other ships, as well as get trained by other crew that have certain types of abilities, as well as ETs, as well as psionic amplifier techs, including ancient artifacts from founder races and other mysterious origins. And then there's this cool tech that's like a research hub, and like tablets that are kind of like technological ways to access Akashic record history and data collections. So there's ways to amplify the psionic abilities through those. We went up from low psionic levels to high ones, like level. I would rate it at a level 7, like including teleportation is something deeper into the timeline of that one. There's healing abilities, time sight, teleportation, not time travel, unfortunately, but the ship time travels. The shadow, there's different things that are involved in the mission. The main one is to make the best possible timeline in the future. There's a room on the ship that monitors the future timelines, including a lot of it's like anchoring to the point of a dimensional shift, like Earth used to be a higher dimensional and then density output, and then through catastrophes that happened, she dropped down, and then there's like a bunch of fractured wounds in perception of various consciousness on our planet, and the separation of different density beings from a perception into that. When we raise it up, we get connected back to them, like with a lot of the cryptids. So there's this big moment in the future that we're trying to anchor to, but there's over 50 plus timelines we've gone to in the future that have a different outcome. We're trying to look for the information of how to get there for that event. Now, we also go into the past, it looks like, such as events like Atlantis fall, a bunch of things going back in time and adding bullshit to it. So we're closing a lot of the back doors that show up and expose themselves through a lot of these events I'm about to name, including the pyramid grid takeover, which was things with Apophis and the Egyptian god Set and dark sorcerers, and the taking over the grid and away from its original purpose. Egyptian fall, which was around the Akhenaten time. A lot of invasions happened there. A lot of these are we're going back to civilization falls. Roman fall, the Tartarian fall, the COVID had like a bunch of things going around in a chess move, and things are being added to the timeline even now to the COVID event. So we're using that as a trap to expose chess players. Also into the future, the disclosure event, which we've at least from what I've seen over 11 different versions of it. It's in flux. It's not really something anchored, and it happens many different ways. And as we resolve incursions, it gets better. Now, there's also events that I've seen into the future that we went to were involved in to make better, such as these two aggressive insectoid races, this big evasion. So if anyone's seen, I think that movie Tomorrow War, it's kind of like where they take people from the past, either as clones and of their DNA or whatever, and then send them to the future to fight a war. absolutely happening. Crazy shit I get in bleed overs with that. It's not always the same insect race, but there's like a big bunch of apex predator, a higher dimension, extra dimensional apex predators that are influencing to have an event. And if we resolve the species that's invading, then they try to replace it with another one. So that's an unfortunate schematic that's going on that we're trying to hold the line against. Then and then there's also like troops being trained for that, involved in that war. So then there's an event to form peace with some of those insect races, like a spider, highly aggressive spider and a highly aggressive ant kind of thing. And then there's when time travel is made public in the future, which is not the best scenarios. There's multiple timelines of those, trying to make it better, as well as when portals in like secret projects start accessing negative realms, and then there's invasions that come through that. We're trying to prevent that.
Oh, I think it may be already going on with CERN, though. I don't know. We keep getting whistleblower testimony that the entities are coming in and out of CERN portals right now.
Yeah, entities are coming in. That's harder to resolve. I meant like physical ones. Then that would be a horrible invasion. We're trying to work on the worst situations first.
Yes,
and then we'll get to the easier things.
Okay,
but yeah, there's a lot of portals open up to hell realms and anti-voiders, and it's awful. Then there's a bunch of ships involved that we connect to. There's different ET peace trade agreements. There's higher dimensional beings that are supporting us. In the ship that I've seen, there's a really awesome training simulator that I spend most of my time in. It is great. I love it. It's like great for training abilities is one of my favorite things to do. Then there's we've also I get the information that we prevented a terroristic activity, kind of like 9/11. So that's nice. There's also events you can look into of teleportation for the higher level Psionic users on the ship that can do. Most of the teleportation is involved in other worlds, and then some interaction in the past. But there's also a teleporter room on the ship. There's a remote viewing amplification bunch of chairs room, and that's a different one from the timeline viewing room. Which is the future-looking glass kind of room, I call it. There's a school room that, like, what Arkheim goes into that trains psionic abilities in many other formats and then amplifies the speed of learning. There's a room that's like, it's this weird plasma field kind of room that permeates through the whole room that if you just meditate in, it charges you up, gives you a ton of power and energy. It's like, I call it the coffee room, but and then it charges up your abilities. Then there's a gym, and it has gravity stuff. There's a stasis chamber. There's a med room. There's an engineering with exotic tech. There's an R&R room. There's a map triangulating AI of the galaxy room. There's we train crews for other places, as well as there seems to be, since it's going back and forward in time, it's appears that we go into life extension methods and at least 500 years worth of service. But the timeline's in flux. You can change it as we know it. And Arkheim and me and other members and others that would be involved in that are lesser known, when they come out, maybe we'll see. There's other ships like this. This isn't the only project. They're making these to be counters to big timeline incursion invaders and from beings that are like negative time lords from like Orion and Draco and insectoid planets and all that. So really cool stuff. Love it.
That's fantastic. So For everybody who's watching, Sean had done a remote viewing on it as well. He has a fantastic channel called Psionic League on YouTube. You guys, please go over there and subscribe to that, as well as Disclosure Now, of course. But Sean is a fantastic remote viewer and very psychic. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, this is awesome. Yeah, Sean, if you need to go, you can hop off if you need to. I heard you got another gig after this.
Yeah, a bit, but like I'll stick around for a bit. So I want to hear what you guys have tuned into this. Arkheim, have you tuned in anything else more on the?
Yeah, that's a good question. What do you think, Arkheim?
I just remember the docking bay when you're saying all that stuff. That was the one thing I just got a memory back of the docking bay. It's huge. And yeah, that ship is so big that other ships can park inside of it. It's huge. It's miles and miles long. Like I got bad judgment of size, but it's freaking huge.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Now, do you guys have any idea of like how long you were on this ship? I mean, you're currently there now, right? Because it's your altars. Are you there at this moment? As an altar?
No, I don't think so. They take me at night, then 500 years happens, and then they put me back like it never happened. So it's like, for me, as far as I can tell, it already happened. But Sean, you explain it. Maybe you understand it better, because like time travel is weird, right? Because like, for instance, people will be like, "Oh, so and so's dead," but it's like, well, they're a time traveler, so that doesn't. You might see them in the future, even though they're technically dead or whatever. So it's kind of confusing if that makes any sense.
I can only state on what I'm reading for myself, and I agree with you. There's multiple ways they'll visit me, such as like taking you, abducting you once, taking your DNA, and then making multiple clones, and then they go off, and then you're like,
"Oh, like you said, these aren't clones."
These aren't clones.
Real bodies, like they're literally physically They literally physically took us for this.
Yeah. I can only speak for myself, but physically taken from me. I have been visited multiple times by the same faction over and over again, and they take me on more missions. So I've seen that. I'm currently looking at one where they took me at age 5, and they essentially took me for around plus 500 years, and it's in flux, and then put me back at age 5 with holographic 0-point imaging of what you know in the body you were taken as. They possibly taken me more. I don't know. So we'll tune more into this, but that's what I've read for this specific one. I'll look into it. So yeah, it's now in this timeline. It's going off and doing a thing. It's just that it has an end, and they put me back, and then I continue with this. So technically, I'm the future past after that. So.
It gets confusing.
Yeah.
Oh, time travel, like people are always like, does it time travel get confusing? Grandfather paradoxes and that. It's like, as somebody who's literally experienced it, yes, it's so confusing. It's so confusing.
Yeah, it's got to be confusing. And listen, I actually heard my own voice yell out time travel one night when I was hiking into the woods doing some research with my team. And I thought, man, I'm going to have access to time travel technology in the future.
And you're going to be with me.
And I'm going to be with Arkheim.
Yeah, you're going to be with me.
You're already in access to it.
Yes. Yeah, I already have totally. It hasn't happened at this moment right now, but it has happened in the future. And so time is nothing, y'all. Time is just
one thing that I've seen that's
real.
Pretty crazy is predestination paradox. That's just real as hell. It's wild.
Have you gone into your visitations and abductions, Jessica?
I've talked about them. What do you mean?
Oh, like reading into like what the reasons for and what points and what is doing it, and then like time travel is usually involved in it to put you back in. Have you had like ever like where you're in waking state and you just like jolt for no reason? Yes. You're like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah, yeah, all the time. Actually, that's happened quite a few times throughout my life. Yeah, it has.
Yeah, it's temporal dilation sometimes. Sometimes there's others, but I'd look into that. But there's also this big matrixy thing in our body and on the planet that makes us forget. I've been tracking it back and looking at the cores of it because I want to get rid of it. But it's a pain in the ass. Some of the ETs don't wipe our memory, but when they put us back, there's like this system that makes us forget when we're here.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that explains a lot. Yeah. One thing that supposedly helps with that is physical objects. So I've heard of people getting abducted by aliens, and the aliens are like, "You're not going to remember this. Here, like, take this and put it in your pocket or something." And then they don't remember it at all, and they wake up, but then they find the stone, and then like, whoa, and it grounds them in the memory. So if you're ever on an alien spaceship and you want to remember it, ask them if you could take something with you, because sometimes they'll let you.
I've also found sand in my hair, and I haven't been when I was in Boston. And I didn't been to the beach in like half a year, and like a lot of it. And I was like, "What the fuck is it?" Like I'm collecting it. I have it. It's still in a little thing. It says it's when I read it, it says it comes from a simulation room of a beach when I was going on essentially a little vacation, and then. Yeah, you can also scratch your hand or mark it or put.
Oh yeah. Biggest one I've talked about this. I ripped off my necklace. So this is huge. This is how I remembered Centurion 5. I woke up. I felt that I was drugged. I could see that we were in this weird room, and there's like people lying on the floor, like slumped over, like. And I was like, oh man, I'm not gonna remember this. I'm not gonna remember this. Damn it! And they took me somewhere. They did something to me. So what I did. I just ripped it off. And sure enough, it worked. Like, and what it was is like when I woke up the next night, or like woke up in the middle of the night, I patted on my chest and the necklace was there. I was like, oh, just a dream, I guess, or whatever, you know. And then the next day, like when I like examined my necklace, you could tell that it was broken and someone like shoddily put it back together. Like it was a real memory. So I'm telling you, if you're ever on a ship and you know they're gonna try to make you forget. There are ways where you can fight back and do something weird to where it helps you remember. And like if I didn't pull that necklace, if I didn't do that, if I didn't have the foresight to know to do that, like maybe I would have never remembered Centurion 5. And think about how big of a part of that of my testimony that is. Like it's huge. And that was like they were taking me again and putting me back and taking me and putting me back for like a month and a half because I lived entire lifetimes in Centurion 5 for like a 3,000 year period. Like I was like from the beginning of the colony to the very end of it. Like it was crazy.
Oh my gosh. You know what? That's something that I was always taught to do is that if you have an experience, write it down immediately. Like take note of it because they're so fleeting. Like the memories of them are so fleeting for whatever reason. We forget almost immediately after it happens. It's just like having a dream, right? Mm-hmm. It's like when you wake up in the morning, write a dream journal so you remember your dreams because we do communicate in our dreams with the other side in the different dimensions where a lot of us are doing work in the astral.
Oh, absolutely.
And we're getting messages from our loved ones and our guides. So write it down as soon as you wake up. That's my advice to everybody listening tonight.
Yeah, and sometimes you'll wake up with your beard or mustache way longer than usual, or
that happens to me all the time. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, marks, scratches, like injection marks. Things.
A big one that I get is they've been sticking a needle up my left nose into my brain before they put me back, and I think it has something to do with deactivating my memory because I'm remembering, and the weird thing they got going on isn't working well enough or something. And so every morning when I wake up, I wiggle my nose, and just by doing that, I can tell whether I was taken or not because the left nostril will be sore.
Sometimes you get
seriously, it's crazy. Like it's physical evidence, and it's different every day. Like this morning, wiggle my nose, nothing. It doesn't. It's not sore on the left side.
Too? You get nosebleeds?
I don't get nosebleeds. I would when I was like, I don't get them anymore.
That's just like James. Y'all remember when we were at Montauk? James told me he was like, Jessica, I just got taken. And because he and I and Long Island Bigfoot, shout out to Long Island Bigfoot Mike, by the way. Long Island Bigfoot Mike and James Rink and I went. We went to Council Rock. Man. I do too, right? But we all us three went to Council Rock, that big rock at the cemetery that night. And James told me when we got back to the house, he said, I've been taken. And he knows because he would always bite his gum inside his mouth. Anytime he was taken, that was his indicator. Is that if he had like a hole in the side of his gum on the inside that he had been taken.
Ooh, I had like these triangles out of the inside of my my mouth and my ear. It's like little like bits of flesh taken. That's interesting.
Yeah, well, that's how James knows. So shout out to James. What's up, James Rink? Lavera, thank you for that other super sticker. That's so sweet of you. She says live was absolutely live. Jessica, I hope you have Arkheim and Sean back on. Yes, I will. Of course, I will. I always have Arkheim on. I hope Sean will definitely come back for sure.
Hey, I think you should have Sean back on for a show just on his alien artifacts.
Yeah,
you really should.
Yeah, do the alien stuff and going into the little Mexican fairies, because I'm gonna go look for them.
Mexican fairies.
Sean could be your, just like me, where he comes on the show all the time. He's got so much information.
Well, he's going to be the return co-host, return guest. Yes. Yeah, Sean's cool like that, man. Sean, I have you on anytime, man. You guys are my buddies, and I'm so blessed to have been able to hang out with y'all down up at Montauk.
Yeah, I hope we get to do some sort of Montauk trip again in the future, because I feel like it would be good to go back there and kind of do a similar trip again. I've talked a little bit about it with Long Island, Bigfoot, and Brian Minnick and stuff. Just because one of the things that Brian Minnick and him were saying is you can just camp out here. That's the best way to do it. It's camp out in the woods and you know what I mean? But yeah, so
that's how we roll, man. We're Bigfoot researchers, y'all. So that's what Long Island Bigfoot and I do. I camp out, I sleep in a hammock out in the middle of dogman infested territory. Okay, that's what I do. And so yeah, we'll protect y'all. Don't worry.
And just hit me up on your local areas that you like to look for Bigfoot, and I'll help look for the place of power that will get them to love you for if you activate them. Arkheim, I had a question for you. I keep forgetting to ask it whenever I tune into one of my amnesia barriers. Amnesia barriers seem to have the more top tier abilities in training, and also I had a lot of abuse with them. It was awful, but I kept tracking one back to Montauk that was first trained under Washington D.C., then to Montauk, that had to do with levitation. And they were very abusive. They would, at least for what I was reading into it, they would take kids and then there's this big concrete room. It's huge underground. It's a bigger than a warehouse. And there was this stepping part where you'd go up to higher and higher levels. And they would start you off by having you fall off 7 feet. And they have cameras and things monitoring the speed at which you land. And they would keep having you do that until your legs hurt enough to where you couldn't do it anymore. And they would reward you with chicken nuggets and not rape you if you were able to slow your speed. And then they would keep increasing the levels throughout the next days to where you would get higher and higher. And if you broke your legs, they would just
Well, that's another thing is that they did. I don't know if James Rink has talked about how he remembers that they would at their parties they would throw us on the lions pits to see which one of us would levitate above the use our push ourselves back out and not fall in. So and there's also when we're at Montauk at the edge of that cliff that we stood on. I don't remember, but apparently we would jump off that cliff and literally fly. And I had a dream the other night. Where I think I could fly. It was the first time. It was crazy. I had this dream the other night where it was me and Kat. We were standing in front of my old house in Appleton, one of the places that I grew up in. And all of a sudden this plane's coming down and this UFO is following it. And I instantly alter out. And I remember I was still there and I couldn't control my body and I just jumped in the sky and flew after it. And to the point where I'm what the fuck? And I woke up. It was so intense. I woke up. I was holy shit. Because I was just flying through the sky at 1,000,000 miles. And I was whoa, it jolted me awake. So I think that's very possible. That's one of those things where even I'm flying like Superman? Are you fucking crazy? That sounds nuts. But dude, we were pushing. They said one of the phrases that I remember from Montauk now, they said science, no matter what. That was what they said. Science, no matter what. That basically meant we don't care who we have to hurt. We have to kill. We don't care what moral ethics we have to go against. Science, no matter what.
Yeah, through the stress-based triggering of evolution. Yeah, and after you, they got you to a certain level where you could slow yourself down. more and more slow, and eventually you could stop and levitate a bit, and then they would rate you on how long you could levitate. Then they would have you like go up, and then after it's like this system that they keep doing, and then they'd have you move different directions, and then they would have you move at a speed, and then like do races to ends of the facility. And then they'd have you carry objects, and then higher and higher amounts of weight, and then people eventually, because I think that's what they were training for based on the missions of the future, to like pick up people out of timelines that would die. And then after that, they brought me through a portal that I read into. It goes to another timeline. So I don't know if this is, I don't know if it exists on this timeline for Montauk. But Montauk like mines timelines and makes multiple of themselves. Some of them are at war with each other. And it took me to a timeline, underground Montauk, huge facility, like big training course for a levitation. They brought it there, I was reading, because they had a really powerful teacher that was better than anyone else at levitation. And he was only teaching during a certain time window. So they kept bringing people from different timelines to learn from him there. And then they would teach you how to, do all the maneuvers to where you could avoid death in lots of ways, and pick up and ferry people and like rescue operations. And that I was reading is like a guardian angel project of some kind. And they would send us to the future to different points in the timeline, and like war zones that they saw people of a great asset die, and then swoop up and take them away. Prevent their death.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like that's the thing, that extractions, certain people die, they extract them. That's what they did to the Kennedys. The Kennedys are in the breakaway colonies, and they're still alive. Just like a lot of people, Marilyn Monroe, stuff like that, they get extracted, and we were part of that.
Wow.
I've got memories of actually working. Get this, Jessica, and the chat too. I actually knew Jack. I knew John F. Kennedy. I worked for him directly. It was my job to protect him from like time project. We knew they were trying to assassinate him, and well, obviously we tried our damnedest, but look at what happened. It's a bummer. He was a good man. He was a good man. He cared about this country and the world. He cared about the world, not just America, but like America helping the world and making the world better. He cared about all that. It's sad.
Yeah, well, so the audience, you guys, y'all are all familiar with Stranger Things. I know some people may be new to the Montauk Project and don't know a whole lot about it. I think the majority of people who watch my shows are pretty familiar because I talk about it pretty often. But yeah, just like Dan said, Dan's out of the UK. He's up at, gosh knows, I don't even know what time it is over there. It's got to be 3 or 4 in the morning, Dan. So thank you for being with us tonight. He says you should have never have had to suffer that. Never. It's unforgivable. And it's really sad, the things that you guys have endured, and all the survivors of the Montauk programs and Project Phoenix, like you've been a part of, Arkheim. It's really sad.
It is really sad, but I feel really good doing a show like this where we talk more about how, like, it's like I said, what they did in us in Montauk was despicable. Obviously, it's terrible, but they had to take our power from us because they didn't like. It's like John keeps on saying, they don't really have creative power. They don't have their own power. All they can do is control other people's power, like in a magician type way. So it's sad that they had to do that to us. It's sad that it's atrocity, and I hope it gets recognized. Roses for Montauk. I want the Rose Garden for Montauk. I want the museum. I want the recognition. I want my paychecks, the money that I'm deserved. But at the end of the day, it's good to know that it's really they inverted us because we were positive, and it's good to know that me and Sean are still out there. We're doing wild stuff, you guys. I very rarely try to talk about this stuff because I understand it's ongoing, and I don't want to accidentally unleash like classified intel or something like that. But I thought the show is really important to know because like I said, like most people want the same thing, whether they're a slug person from planet Grobulon or Earth or whatever. Everybody just wants to love and be loved, to have their belly full, water to drink. Like, it's real simple. And these Archonic people threaten all of that for their own benefit, for their own power, for their own sake, trying to turn everybody to slaves and all this BS. And we don't need it. That's what we and Sean go around and show people in the Black Midas. People are like, we're like, hey, you're going to get rid of your money system. This is how things are going to work. But money? But we need money. We like money. And we were like, no, you don't get it. Just trust us. Like, you don't. But money's good. It's actually really funny. I don't know if you remember this at all, Sean, if you're getting any recall, but some of these aliens, when you try to explain what's good for them, they're like so used to the way things are done. They're like, but isn't no money bad? How do we pay for things? Like, they're just like trying to explain to them these concepts. It can be really frustrating sometimes because they're like, you're trying to take advantage of us. You're trying to take away money. You're not the good guys. We're like, no, we promise you we are. Like, it's like, because you got to keep in mind, like, it's mind control. It's a paradigm shift. It's like trying to get them to understand this stuff. It's like all over the galaxy, a lot of the same things are playing out where there's some sort of big bully who comes in, tries to take advantage of them, and they're so used to it that when you're like, hey, these guys are bullies. You know, you don't need these people. They're right. But they'll be like, but they take care of us. We need them. We have to have them. And we're like, no, you don't, actually.
What about the roads?
Yeah. What's that, Sean?
We need the roads. Who are going to make the roads?
Yeah, who's going to make the roads, though? Who's going to take care of it? Like, it's like, you guys will make the roads. But how? They tell us what to do. Like, it's just like, it's seriously, it's so annoying. Like, we got to just be like, smile and like, because we're diplomats, we can't be like, you dumb motherfuckers. We can't do that. We have to be like really nice to them, really cordial, and it's like trying to explain to certain races what's. And the hardest part is when they're literally like, no, thank you. We want to continue with the war and the violence and the death and the prisons and the mental illness. We like things the way they are. That's always heartbreaking, and we literally, because of our the way we approach things and consent, we have to be like, all right, enjoy your fucking hell planet. Bye. Like, we can't. We can only interfere to a certain point, and then we have to put our hands up and go, all right, you guys decided what you want. Maybe we'll check in 500 years from now and see if you change your mind. But other than that, wish you luck. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's kind of how it is in everyday life now too. It's like a lot of us are awake. We know what's going on, and we're trying to kind of inform the masses. And some people are just really comfortable keeping their head in the sand, living in their own little reality bubble, and in their own reality. And it's hard to break people out of the box. And I totally get it. I get it. You know, it's comfortable.
Prisons, the Matrix, the limitation. They're projecting stupid energy on people, and all their punishments, they're getting it off the evil is getting it off their body and projecting on the populace, limiting them. I kind of got to go, so I'll see you guys. Jessica, we can do a show sometime later. I'll talk to you about it and go into the cryptids and the ETs and going deeper into it. So that'll be fun. Great to see all you guys. Thank you all in the chat. Subscribe to all our channels, Arkheim's, Jessica's. Smash those comment below, share this video with a bunch of friends. And I'm at psionicleague.com, Psionic League YouTube, psionicleague@gmail.com if you want to contact me. Healing clearing session, a depossession at a distance, unlock your psychic abilities, memory retrieval, SSP, a lot of past lives, DNA, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot. So yeah, hit you guys up later. Thank you.
Hit me up. I'll hit you up, Sean. Thank you for being here. Okay.
Thanks, Sean.
Honored.
All right.
Always honored to work with you wherever reality or whether we're on the internet or whatever planet we're on. Always an honor, Sean.
Be careful with those ancient alien artifacts you got there. Don't give them to the Smithsonian, Sean. Do not give them to the Smithsonian.
He already knows.
Yeah, they're assholes.
If they come knocking and say no, hell no.
And someone was asking in the audience about like this. Did you get him tested or anything like that? Real quick before you go.
Yeah, I got a friend that does. They've been carbon dated the same site for some were 1,000 years, some were 18,000 years, the oldest was 19,000 years. They even carbon dated fake ones made by the cartels because they like to make fake things of every thing that's valuable. That's like 10, 20, 50 years. So it's definitely a difference. This one glows in the dark when you shine UV light on it. And I'll show you.
Wait till because this you haven't scheduled it yet, but we all know it's gonna happen. Chat, wait until you see the show. Yeah. It's gonna be. I already had him on my show, but you know, you can watch that if you want if you're impatient. But like, it's crazy. He's got like a bunch of these, and they're all mind blowing.
That's amazing. Sean, come back and see me then, please.
Oh yeah. You can come down if you want to come dig. We got
come dig. I'll remove you some dig spots or something.
Yeah, I'll make it a dig site. You might find some objects yourself.
Okay.
Yeah. So these all have power coming out of them. This one also glows in the dark. This comes to a portal. I'll show you the portal later. It's amazing stuff we got, and they all give you upgrades. Everyone in the audience, if you want, they'll give you upgrades.
Steve says, Sean, please put those away in a safety deposit box. Item.
Thanks.
Go hide
them. I'll see you guys later.
Okay. See you, Sean.
Bye.
Thank you.
See you, Sean.
Thank you for being here. Oh man, this has been fantastic, Arkheim. What a great topic tonight and a great show. It was great having Sean here. I can't believe that looks like an alien. That little statue.
Yeah, no, dude, it's tons of depictions of aliens. There's like several different kinds. Like, looks like there's mer people. Like the one of them is like a mer person with like a pet fish creature.
Really?
Like it's great. And he's got the video of him digging them up. Like he didn't get these from like some roadside tourist trap or something. Like it's real stuff.
He's digging. Like he's got a shovel out there. He's out there digging himself.
He had a whole crew with him. They fought all sorts of stuff.
How common is that though? Like, what is going? Like, he just has a good spot. I'm gonna have to ask him when he comes on the show.
Yeah, ask the story. But it sounded like he like went to the city for it totally. It like just all magically like happened. Is what it sounds like. Definitely save it for the interview with him. But it's crazy, yeah. And he's doing more. Like he said, he's doing more. So he's inviting people to like come see it yourself. So it's like, yeah.
Hey, I'm down. I'm totally down to go down to Mexico and I go dig for some alien artifacts.
I've always wanted to visit Mexico and check it out, and especially like all the pyramids. And it sounds like he'd be the perfect person to go hang out with. So. Yeah,
he would be. Yeah, Sean, listen, I can tell you guys, I know it's Sean and Arkheim are really fun to hang out with, y'all. Okay, like I said, we had a really good time up at Montauk, and Sean gave away the jacuzzi stuff. That was funny. We did have we had a pool, just get all that. It was fun. But anyways, we were also there for work too, though. We were like looking for portals and clearing the land at Montauk, like doing grid work and things like that too. So we're
honoring the energy of what happened and transmuting the energy of that place to something more positive, which, like I said, everybody going there and hang out with their families, loving life on the beach and stuff like that. They're all doing that too. So it was a surprisingly really positive experience for a place that is known to have such dark energy.
It was. And so I love this too, Arkheim, because even tonight with this target that you gave me, it's actually very positive. Okay. It's something that's very negative, but it has some positivity to it. And because you guys are actually, your recall of what's going on there is that you are shifting timelines for a positive timeline for humanity. And that's huge.
And really for all beings, it's not just humanity. It's because, like I said, they're when Sean was saying the Black Midas is one of many different ships kind of all doing the same thing. Some of them are more different, like mantids or whatever, different ET races that are sort of doing the same thing, just trying to make sure that things are, like I said, it's in everybody's best interest for things to be mellow, to avoid chaos, to, you know what I mean? Everybody just wants the same thing. You know what I mean? To live peacefully and to have nice lives. You know what I mean? So that's really all we're trying to do. It's not that complicated. I mean, it can be complicated, but at the end of the day, it's simple. We just want to. We all want the same things. We want a full belly. We want to live somewhere nice with people we love that care about us, where our cultures and our beliefs are all respected. Right? It's simple. So that's what we're trying to provide with the Black Midas, and this really here, just like really here with. Like, that's what I'm trying to do with my work, I guess. It's like, and I'm sure you could say the same thing. Like, we're just trying to create positivity and get rid of these satanic losers that have fucked up our planet for far too long.
Oh man. Well, we're doing what we can do, and I'm doing what I love to do, and you are too. And I know you said we just want to eat and have good food. I know Kat's back there making something to eat tonight. I bet.
We're gonna have
What's
dinner.
up, Kat?
She's getting spaghetti ready. She says hello.
Hey, Kat. What's up, girlfriend? Okay. We love you too. But yeah, thank you so much for being here tonight, Arkheim. I really do appreciate it, and you bring the heat with these targets. You do a
It
great
was
job.
fun, and I got another one for
Yeah.
you. The next one, I want to bring Drago Reed on the show with me. I got another one for you.
Drago.
Yeah.
Drago was in the chat tonight, by
was
the
in the
way.
chat
What's up,
tonight,
Drago?
yeah.
He was in the chat. Thank you for being here,
The next
Drago.
time we come on, I'd love to do a show with Drago.
Yes, let's do it. We'll see when he's free, and we'll plan it for another Thursday night.
He's usually I don't know if you could do a different day of the week because he tattoos usually during now. So
he is a tattoo artist.
Yeah.
Yes.
So don't you do a show on Saturday too, or?
I do. I have a Saturday. It's not my remote viewing show, but I have a show called On the Hunt, and I usually bring on like cryptid researchers and cryptid experiencers.
Well, maybe we could pre-record, or we could tell them to take a day off or something. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Yes, or I have daytime shows too, so it'd be like 10 a.m. your time.
Oh yeah,
it'd be 1 o'clock Drago's time. Yeah,
doing shows with Chantal. I'm getting up at like 9 in the morning to meet with her.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, we could do a daytime show with Drago if he could do that.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I have to talk to him. In fact, he called me on Thursday, and my ADHD brain still hasn't. I got to call him back.
Hook it up then. Hook it up. See when he's free, and we'll set it up. I've got a few guests scheduled, so we'll just look at the calendar, and we'll do it.
Well,
listen, I love doing shows with you.
I just want to thank the audience. You know, I love it when I see you guys on Disclosure Now in my chat and come over to the channel. You guys are the best. I really appreciate that. I see a lot of familiar faces in the audience tonight that have been hanging out on my show, so thank you for that. And you know, my book is on, I always keep on forgetting, Time and Space Unlimited on Amazon.com by Arkheim Ra. If you want to hear my whole story and learn more about me. And yeah, thanks again.
Okay, I'm putting it up on the screen right now. Time and Space Unlimited. Talking about the Blucifer. That is Arkheim. You and I did a remote viewing target of that. Remember that? And that is actually the horse. You can see the horse is at the Denver airport, y'all. Mm-hmm. And they call it Blucifer. And actually, the similar horse is on your book cover, and that was the symbol for the Montauk project, right?
Well, it's like the PSYOPs division of the military. In fact, if you want, I can show you real quick.
Yeah.
Or PSYOPs. Hold up.
So you guys, please go support Arkheim. Purchase his book. It's called Time and Space Unlimited.
Dark Horse. Okay, here I'll show you real quick. If you just one second.
Oh yeah.
I just
share the screen
real quick. And so they're connected to the time travel projects. This is the logo, Dark Horse. See that? It's right here. So, and that it's got the red glowing eyes, and it basically Blucifer is like just because what it is a horse is mind control. A horse doesn't what you turned it into a car. This being that can like drive, gallop across the fucking mountains and live a beautiful life in the forest. You turned it into a glorified car, right?
You gotta break its spirit.
You gotta break its spirit to do that. So that's what that represents, in my opinion. That's why they use the horse symbolism. It's because it's mind control.
You gotta break it. Oh my gosh, that's right. I don't know why I didn't think about that. Yeah, you gotta break it.
Spaghetti, I think you're making spaghetti.
I'm actually making myself like a little pizza with one of those Trader Joe's like onion patty things.
Oh, she's making herself a little pizza. Okay.
I love it. All we want is to eat good food, right? Okay.
Yeah, for real. I'm about to
be happy. That's right. That's right. I love it. I'm so glad that Kat's here too tonight. This is great.
Yeah, we have to have a show where she comes on with me. In fact, didn't you say you have some targets for her?
Well, I have one target that I would like to ask her to view, but I kind of want to keep it like a private thing between us three. So
okay. Well, I think Kat was behind the robot grandma, right? That was like one of my all-time favorite targets.
I told him about that. I was like, he had never heard of that story before, and I told him about it.
I love that. Yeah. Well, we'll definitely do some work together again soon. Okay. And yeah, we got a lot to marinate on tonight though too. I mean, this is wonderful because this really does this target does align with the secret space program and all the testimony that you've given, and Sean and other people in the programs as well. So I really do enjoy working with you guys on this, and you can't argue with the blind target. It's just hard to do that, right?
Yeah, that's part of the reason why I like to do this is maybe for the normies, your channel's not going to do it for them, but for a lot of people in this community, they understand screen memories and all these things, and like I said earlier in the show, just replying remote view targets with people to kind of help see. Because hey, man, if there was ever a show where you're like, this is a match, like I'm getting like hologram, I'm getting this, I'm getting like, you know what I mean? I'd be like, all right, well then maybe it's a fake memory. I would totally admit it. But so far, I think I'm pretty good at judging what memories are fake or not. And to anybody in the audience, we're gonna wrap things up here, but if you're ever like, if I have a memory, I don't know if it's real or not. The screen memories, they can fake memories. They can make them look super real and super lifelike, but they will not have any feeling. They cannot make the memory of emotions. They don't know how to, they aren't capable of doing it. So if the memory has like zero emotion behind it, then it's very likely not real, because everything makes you feel something. So think of the emotions you're feeling in the memories that follow that, and that's how you can verify whether the memories are real or not. That's how I do it, and so far it's been tried or true. Like every target that I've given you, you've been able to verify they're real. So I think I'm pretty good at judging which of my memories are false and which of my memories are real. And I have had false memories. I have had to sift through memories and realize stuff was fake and stuff like that. It happens because they do that, unfortunately. But yeah, that robot grandma is dangerous.
Yeah, everybody loves robot grandma.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally had pins made. Wait, that's upside down. I literally had pins made of the robot grandma.
Yeah, that's an awesome picture. I love it.
I love it. She's got a red eye like the Terminator. Okay. I know. Oh my gosh. Well, you guys, Kat and Arkheim, thank you all so much for hanging out right now. And Arkheim, thank you for the great target. And you guys, please go to Disclosure Now on YouTube, and please subscribe over there. And Arkheim, you have live shows throughout the week too, right?
Yes. In fact, tomorrow we're going to be, when I was talking about the conspiracy files and that channel and how they're just like totally blowing the lid on all this stuff, like so hardcore, like with receipts, evidence, like they're being so, oh my gosh.
Yeah, they're great.
And we're going to actually do just like watch the newest video on the smiley face killers and kind of pause it, break down things. It's just gonna be like a reaction video, but that's tomorrow at 6 p.m. my time. So that'd be
9 p.m. our time over on the East Coast.
Yeah. So check that out, and just when you subscribe to the channel, my channel, hit the notification bell, because I'm always, like I said, I'm trying to be more like, oh, I have an idea, let's just do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that going on lately, because otherwise I'll be like, oh, I had this great idea like 2 months ago and I never did it, and I have too many ideas to not just do them right away. So I think that's actually helping the channel a lot. So just, check out my channel. It's kind of random when I do stuff, but I think, it's interesting content for sure.
Very interesting. It's a lot of, it's wonderful. You're a wealth of knowledge. And so you guys, please go over there and subscribe. And also go subscribe to Psionic League, okay, on YouTube. That's Sean Bond's channel over there, and you will love it. He's got all sorts of videos right now on his social media too. Go to Psionic League on social media, and he's got all of his ancient alien artifacts.
I highly recommend consultation with Sean. It's great. He can help.
He's into dragons.
Yeah,
he's really into dragons too, y'all. So I love that.
I love the serious look on your face when he said that. It's true though. Dragons don't fuck around, man.
Hey, listen, we talk about dragons over here. I've actually seen a dragon myself, the petrified dragon in Alabama.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, no, I totally believe they're real, and I've seen some footage on social media recently where it looked like, you never know, CGI and AI, but who knows? Maybe it is real. But in fact, I know from being a time traveler and stuff, they're real. They're totally real.
We got a dragon cat.
We got a dragon cat. She's a dragon.
Dragon cat.
She's a dragon in a cat body.
Yeah.
And she's
you know what they say about cats, right? Is that cats might have some kind of like they might have like some reptile in them, like they're like a snake and a large cat combined.
Look at her eyeballs.
Yeah.
Oh, they're not in slits right now.
Like people in our apartment building are like, yeah, your cat is so weird. She slithers like a snake in the hallway.
That's a slithery snake.
Yeah.
Snake.
She's such a good cat. She's like my best friend, though. This cat right here. She's so cool.
Oh my God, y'all are so awesome. All right, well, I can't wait to hang out with you guys again.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a good
sure.
time.
We've got plenty more targets to do. I don't think I'll ever run out of them. So
okay, well, I'm down for it for sure.
All right, awesome.
All right.
And hey, say hi to Barry next time you see him for me. I'm supposed to message him back about a show that we might do together in the near future about that. Well, the artificial memories and all that. So yeah, make sure to tell him I said hello next time you see him. And anyway, I'll talk to you soon. And much love.
Okay, you guys have a great night.
Bye.
All right, bye. Well, all right. Well, then it was just one, and that's me. Thank you guys so much, everybody who stuck around till the very end here. Gosh, my camera is terrible. I look like a vampire tonight, y'all. Look how I look so pale. I promise I'm not a vampire. Not that I know of, at least. Unless somebody bit me last night. I don't know. But you guys have a wonderful night. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. Please go subscribe to Psionic League over there on YouTube and on Disclosure Now with the exclamation point. And I hope you guys have a wonderful night. This has been really fun. This has been a really good show tonight. And come back and see me on Saturday night. We're going to be going on the hunt. I can't remember who my guest is. I'm not sure if I've locked in a guest yet. I've got like 2 or 3 people that I reached out to about Saturday night. I can promise y'all it's going to be another great show. All right. So thank you guys again for sticking around. And also let me thank the people who gave me super stickers tonight and gifted memberships. Thank y'all so much. Firewater by Design. Thank you so much. Lavera, thank you so much for the super sticker. Wink at Me, thank you. Larry Sharp, thank you for gifting those memberships. And Lavera, again, you gave 2 super stickers tonight. That is so sweet of you. And it's much appreciated. All right. And I appreciate you guys for being so wonderful and understanding. You know, the Secret Space Program is a really interesting subject. And I really appreciate the support that you give my guests when all my co-hosts and my guests come on here, because it is kind of difficult for some of them to talk about some of their experiences in these covert black ops programs and black budget things. You know, it's different. It's not just cryptids we're talking about. And so I appreciate all the support that you guys give my guests as well. And you guys have a wonderful night. Please stay safe out there. We are living in wild times right now. And a lot of things are being disclosed. A lot of things are being exposed, and we're here for it. And I'm here for you guys. And thank you for all the support. I will see you guys back here on Saturday. Please keep your head on a swivel. Watch your back. And stay safe out there. All right, everybody. I love you guys. And I'll see you Saturday. Bye.